Have you ever imagined that around us there are creatures capable of reaching the height of a 40-story building, weighing more than 100 elephants, and surviving longer than many countries are old? The majestic trees hidden in the most remote corners of the planet are so large that some could accommodate entire apartments. And among the branches of these giants develop complete ecosystems with fauna and flora that never touch the ground. Today we reveal the most astonishing of these colossi. In the humid Canadian forests near Lake Chihuahua in Pacific Rim National Park stands the tallest western red cedar in Canada, the Chihuahua giant. Discovered in 1988, this titan reaches 55 meters and has a trunk diameter of over 6 meters. Imagine a 5-story building lying on its side. Its wood would be enough to make 450 telephone poles or build 4 2-story homes. Interestingly, the volume of its crown alone is larger than an Olympic-sized swimming pool. In a single day, this tree can purify the same amount of air as 500 purifiers operating simultaneously. Its bark provides shelter to over 20 species of rare mosses and lichens, and its complex root system extends so far that it can encompass a football field 3 times. Before continuing, I remind you, if you haven't and #Trinov already done so, to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell. But now, let and #Trinovs continue. In Ashikaga Park in Japan stands a true marvel, a 4,400-year-old wisteria that spans more than 2,000 square meters, the equivalent of half a football field covered in flowers. Its long festoons form a living canopy so heavy that it required an entire system of steel structures to support it. During the blooming season, more than 20,000 clusters of flowers bloom, weighing up to 70 tons, the same as a large train carriage. When it blooms, its canopy lights up in shades of pink and purple, transforming the surrounding area into a fairy tale kingdom. In a single season, the tree produces enough nectar to fill 500-liter containers, and bees can create over 100 kilograms of honey from it. The mystical Bhutan cypress grows in the jungles of Bhutan, reaching a whopping 95 meters tall, the equivalent of a 20-story building. Its trunk is so thick that it would take 8 people to hug it. Over the course of its life, a single cypress tree generates enough oxygen for a small city in a year. Rare orchids that only live above 50 meters above the ground thrive in its branches. Local monks believe that some of these giants are over 1000 years old, and that their resin has therapeutic properties. Each year, the tree drops enough needles to cover 3 tennis courts. In the Amazon rainforest, we find the incredible kapok called sumamera, which can grow to 70 meters tall, taller than a 20-story building. Its protruding roots, like huge buttresses, can reach up to 20 meters up the trunk. Not only do they anchor the tree to the soft ground, but they also serve to capture nutrients directly from the air. Its canopy, up to 50 meters wide, could hold 20 parked buses. Every year it produces almost 500,000 seeds surrounded by silky fibers, so tough they were used to stuff life jackets in the Second World War. One of these giants is home to more species of ants than the whole of the UK, and its pollen glows in the dark, making for a breathtaking natural spectacle in the nocturnal forest. In the jungles of Southeast Asia grows the incredible rainbow eucalyptus, capable of reaching 80 meters. But its most surprising feature is its extraordinary bark, which is tinged with colors like a colossal chameleon. Each layer of bark renews itself at distinct times, originating a mosaic of green, red, orange, and purple, up to 20 shades on a single trunk. In a year, the peeled bark could cover the size of an average tennis court. Beneath these colorful layers flows a dense network of canals rich in aromatic resin, whose scent can spread up to 50 meters away. Interestingly, where these trees take root, there are twice as many bird species as in nearby forests. They are attracted by the intense colors and singular fragrance. In the sacred forests of New Zealand stands the Kari Tain Mahuta, the tree with the largest volume of wood in the southern hemisphere. Although it is only 52 meters tall, it does not seem particularly small compared to other giants when you consider that its trunk measures 40 meters in circumference, like trying to hug a city bus. Scientists have found quarantado species of plants on its roof, and a colony of rare New Zealand bats live there permanently. They believe that this tree has survived 1000 strong earthquakes. When it rains, its crown can hold up to 20 tons of water, like a small swimming pool suspended in the forest. Its roots are so extensive that it can detect the approach of other plants up to centimeters away. In the Mexican town of Santa Maria del Tul, we find the enormous Tul cypress, which has the strongest trunk on the globe. Its circumference reaches an incredible 42 meters. It would take 20 steps to walk around this colossus, and no less than 20 people to encircle it with their arms at once. Its crown covers an area of 815 square meters, enough to contain 4 tennis courts. In a single day, this tree can evaporate up to 1000 liters of water, creating a microclimate. Luminescent mushrooms grow in its bark, illuminating the tree in the dark. Its roots descend 25 meters, the height of an 8-story building. Each year it produces about a ton of seeds, and the locals use the dried leaves to make traditional medicines that save many lives. In the Howrah Botanical Gardens in India stands the majestic Great Banyan, whose branches extend over 1000 square meters, an area larger than 2 football fields. Its 360 aerial roots hang like stalactites, giving the illusion of an entire forest. Many visitors do not realize that they are in the presence of a single plant. If all the aerial roots were joined together, their length would exceed 4 kilometers, the same as running through an entire urban area, up to DC degrees cooler under the banyan tree than outside, providing natural air conditioning for thousands of people. In Millennial, the tree lost its central trunk to a cyclone, but continued to expand, revealing its prodigious resistance. Each year, its leaves absorb as much carbon dioxide as 5,000 cars emit, and its imposing canopy is home to over 250 species of birds, more than many parks. In the state of Utah, there is an extraordinary colony of aspen trees called pando, the heaviest living organism on the planet. Imagine a forest the size of 60 football fields, where 5,000 trunks are clones of each other, connected by a single network of roots. The total mass of pando is about 6,000 tons, equal to 50 adult blue whales, or the weight of the Eiffel Tower. This incredible organism is 8,000 years old, contemporary with the last woolly mammoths. Its root system could circle Manhattan twice. Every fall, all the trunks change color in unison, creating a golden glow visible even from space. The dense underground network transfers nutrients and signals between the trees at a speed of about 1 meter per second, faster than many land animals can travel. Oregon is home to the Dorner fir, the world and #Trenove's tallest coniferous tree, which reaches centimeters in height. That and #Trenove is like stacking 20 giraffes or parking 3 airliners vertically. Its trunk is 6 meters in diameter, enough to carve out a small interior room. In a day, it can absorb 4 centiliters of water, the same amount an adult elephant drinks in a week. In its vast crown is a nest of the rare red owl, which has been used continuously by the same population of birds for over 40 years. Scientists think that this colossus has survived more than 100 violent storms and 5 major fires during its 500-year life. In strong winds, the tip can swing up to 3 meters, like a giant pendulum. On the island of Borneo, in the Danam Valley in Malaysia, there is a tree that reaches centimeters, taller than the London Eye or the Christ the Redeemer in Rio de Janeiro. Lying on the ground, it would extend over an entire football field with still a little margin. Its mass even exceeds the weight of a Boeing 737 during takeoff, without considering the root system. Inside its enormous crown thrives a unique ecosystem with more than 000 species of insects, many of which were recently discovered and found nowhere else. To reach the highest branches, researchers have built a cable car over 4 centimeters long, a sort of elevator to the sky. The trunk of the Minera tree still bears the scratches left by orangutans, who use it as a natural skyscraper. Some primate families have lived there for 5 generations. On a bright day, this giant produces enough oxygen for 100 people in 24 hours. Sequoia National Park is home to the monumental General Sherman sequoia, the world and #Trinov's largest tree by volume. Its trunk contains unovergulosync 0 cubic meters of wood, enough to build 50 medium-sized houses. The trunk alone weighs about 90 tons, the equivalent of Dodicea adult blue whales or 8 statues of liberty. Each year, this giant adds about 6 cubic meters of wood, more than the entire volume of all the trees in a small garden. The General Sherman and #Trinov's main branch is thicker than the trunks of 90% of all the other trees on the planet. At 0 years old, it was already a fully grown colossus when the Egyptian pyramids were being built. Its bark reaches 90 centimeters thick, enough to withstand fires with temperatures above unovergulosync 0 degrees Celsius. Under the canopy of General Sherman, in summer, the temperature is 8 degrees lower than outside, creating a natural refuge for hundreds of animal species. Finally, the tallest tree ever, the Sequoia Hyperion, which rises up to 116 meters. That and #Trinov, like lining up 3 stacked blue whales or stacking 11 double-decker buses vertically. It takes a drop of water 24 days to climb from the roots to the top. In that amount of time, the moon could travel almost one entire orbit around the Earth. Its location is one of the best-kept natural secrets in the United States, because a careless step by a visitor is enough to compromise the giant and #Trinov's root system. In just one day, Hyperion absorbs as much CO2 as 40 cars produce in a year. Every year it produces enough seeds to generate 20,000 new trees, an entire forest. Its branches are home to species of lichen and moss that can only live above centimeters, where humidity, heat, and air composition are completely different. Researchers have discovered that electrical impulses travel through the trunk of Hyperion faster than any other known tree, nearly a meter per second. All these monumental green giants are a testament to how incredible nature can become when given the opportunity and space to perform its wonders. Each of these behemoths not only amazes with its size, but becomes the guardian of invaluable ecosystems, the home of countless creatures, and the silent chronicler of the millennia that have passed on our world. Next time you encounter a tall tree, think that elsewhere on the planet there is a veritable host of green skyscrapers whose dimensions would tickle even the wildest fantasies. Thank you for joining us on this wonderful journey.